Hello, everyone. James Pelton here. I am with the one and only Drew Wolfer, actually with him twice in the last week. I mean, what's going on with that? It's amazing to see. Drew is a very good friend. He's helped me out of a lot of sticky situations, and we are here to talk about PreSend today. So, need from you guys, hit the like button, the currency of YouTubers. Some prefer USDC, I prefer likes. So please hit like. If you have questions for Drew as we're going, please ask those. Drew has a lot to say about everything. In fact, I'm probably going to just turn things over to him. Last AMA, I just made him go solo, and then I might go get a drink or something and just kind of rest for the day. So, but let us know if you have any questions, anything you want Drew to discuss. We are talking about PreSend today. So let's do very quick introduction of Drew in case there's people who don't know you. Quick introduction of yourself, and then we will jump into PreSend.
Yeah, so I am James Pelton. Basically, I started a YouTube channel a while back. If you've probably seen me, to be honest with you, hundreds of thousands of people have seen my videos. I called out a bunch of scams back in 2022, 2023, transitioned kind of from the real world space where I was running businesses to the kind of now Web3 space where I started Wolfer Finance, and all of my I'm going to consensus. So all my stuff was packed, all my PreSend gear, all my Wolfer gear. So all I have is like my Wolfer Finance jersey. But just so you know, Wolfer Finance is the parent company of PreSend. So that actually matters. Like I can do that is my point. But the PreSend coins are right up here. So yeah, I kind of started out with my flagship Wolfer Finance. And then on one glorious fateful day, a bearded man called Lair Bear. I call him Lair Bear. He hates it. His name is Larry Haliski, called me and he said, "Hey man, this was in August of 2022. He said, I've got this really good idea." And basically he pitched me PreSend, which stops people from losing money on cross-chain transactions, which is something that is very much needed in this market, at least in my opinion, from not only a retail level, but from an institutional level, so that people don't lose their money. And I was like, "Hey, do you have a provisional patent on this by chance?" And he was like, "Yeah, I do. I filed it back in June of 2022. I said, "Okay, great. We can talk." And we built the company. We invented the tech. We filed 2 pending patents on it. And now here we are on the James Pelton YouTube channel. And I don't even have my redheaded wig on or my makeup like I did in the last video. Well, not the last video, the second to last video.
I don't know if you realize this, but you started out by saying, "I'm James Pelton."
Oh, yeah, I am
Okay.
James Pelton. Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
I am James Pelton.
All right. Just wanted to be
Just so
clear.
everyone knows, I'm James Pelton.
Just
I am James Pelton. I'm taking over the channel for today. I just don't have my wig and my makeup on. If anybody
next
should
time.
watch that video, it was awesome. The reason why I said that is because whenever you were saying like the currency of YouTubers, it reminded me of when I was saying that
Oh
on
yeah,
that
you made
video.
fun of me for
And then
that
you
on
started
that.
saying everything's a scam. Literally, this water bottle scam. I was
Scam
dying.
here, scam there. No, amazing. Well, good to have you, Drew. Appreciate all that you do, and I actually really enjoy your videos. There we have different styles of videos. We'll put it that way. But if you don't follow Drew and you want someone who's a little spicier, then Drew is your guy, calling out scams left and right. Appreciate it, man. All right, so you talked a little bit about PreSend. So let's dive into what PreSend is a little bit more. Can you explain if you're in an elevator with somebody, 0 to 6th floor, what is PreSend? What do you do?
Okay, so have you ever lost some money in crypto? Okay,
Yes.
everybody should be raising their hand. Everybody has. Now, have you ever accidentally lost money in crypto? Most people probably still raise their hand, like sending to the wrong, wallet or wrong blockchain or whatever it may be, right? So let me ask just one quick question. Have you ever gone into Starbucks and ordered coffee, accidentally pulled out your Apple iTunes gift card, swiped it, and then it took $5 off of your Apple iTunes gift card, and then told you, "Oh, hey, by the way, you still owe us $5 for your coffee. Give us something that we accept," right? No, it doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in traditional financial instruments, but it does happen in crypto. You could literally send USDC on the Phantom Opera blockchain to Coinbase, and it won't show up because they're not compatible with it. There's many different ways that people lose their money due to these incompatibilities. People literally send Bitcoin from a SegWit to a legacy address, and they lose their Bitcoin. And this is like billions and billions of dollars. What PreSend has done is we have invented a solution that is on the market right now. And I think we're coming up on the 5th floor. So I've got about 10 more seconds till we get to the 6th floor. We've invented a solution and then we filed 2 patents on it in 28 worldly jurisdictions that fixes this exact problem that we are looking to license out to the largest institutions like Coinbase, MetaMask, ding, ding, in the world. All right, we're on the 6th floor, baby.
There you go. Hey, that was it was a little bit of a slow elevator, but
It was very
no,
slow elevator.
yeah, no, really appreciate it.
I pressed the pause button a couple times. I made it
Yeah.
stop at every floor on the way up.
There you go. There you go. You wanted more time with the people. Totally get it. All right. So can you talk a little bit? I don't know if you're able to do any screen shares or anything like that, but maybe just a brief, like, so how does it work? It's a MetaMask extension. I've shown it on the channel before, but oh, look at that. Drew's got his, look at this. You are a pro,
baby.
man. You are a pro.
Prepared. You're a great bro. So PreSend is an extension. It also has a web app that I can show you. So there's this button right now is invest now, but usually this button says web app and you can go to the web app. The web app is at app.presend.io. Now, obviously, we're marketing the crowdfund token sale. So the very first portion of all of our webpage is it's gonna be talking about investing in Precin, right? Because obviously tech companies are very expensive, and James knows this probably better than anybody. And so obviously we have to raise money in order to be able to invent this technology that we already invented, but we need to continue scaling it and go out and get partnerships. And you need a little bit of runway in order to do that. So that is why we have the token sale live right now, which we will talk about in just a second. You can get this on Google Chrome. You can get this on Brave. You can get this on Edge. I can actually click on it. It's not going to show it because I'm only showing that particular thing. So let me just share the entire screen so that it doesn't do that. Bam, bam. All right. So this is the PreSend extension. You'll see my smiling face holding a PreSend whatever. And you can go in and you can download it and do all that stuff. We got a 9.95 out of 10 on our Hackin.io security audit. And if you scroll all the way down here to the documentation tab, you can actually come in here and see all of that, right? You can go and see our Hackin.io security audit, wherever the heck it's at. And then you can see our patent filings, all that good stuff, like all of our public patents, our trademarks, and you can pretty much see everything. You can see our investor overview that tells you everything that you need to know about what is going on this page right here and the opportunity that investing in Precin holds for you. It's like we have a lot of stuff here that you can really kind of go and see, and you can even see the communication kits that we're going to be giving out to our partners and things of that sort. So yeah, this is kind of like what I'm going to be doing next week, which is pitching partners at Consensus. Or actually, I fly out of here. I actually have to drive over to Miami because I fly out. And I'm flying out in about, I think, like 5 hours, 6 hours. And we'll be in Consensus, hopefully locking down some partnerships for Precin. But with that said, even if we are to get a partner tomorrow, although we can integrate them within 48 hours via a SDK, which is software development kit, private API, it'll still take them and their dev team a little bit of time to, get us in the pipeline, to get us in there, and then actually start generating revenue from it. So we still have, bills to pay. What we call the burn rate in business is like, how much money are you burning every single month to just make sure that your business is running, development costs, lawyers, just stuff like that. And so we still need a little bit of money to have runway before we can, start making money from the partners. But this is kind of your last chance. I'm not going to say it's the last chance because I can't technically say that, because there are other shares that we could issue at a later date. I have no idea why we would do that, especially if we have partners and we're generating revenue. I'm not letting anybody in. We're going to keep it, right? We're going to keep the equity, but we are giving people the ability to come in right now on a regulation crowdfund token sale. This is what the token looks like. I'm terrible with this, like trying to point on the screen, man. I suck at it. In the upper right and left-hand corner, that's what the token looks like. And the link is in the description. Do your due diligence, please. Go understand what it is that you're buying and the technology that we have created and what it does. Because in my opinion, this is just my opinion. This is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting anything. In my opinion, we do have like one of those once in a lifetime kind of like revolutionary, could be billion-dollar ideas, right? And the reason why I say that is because we do have pending patents on it, and we do have something that we have invented that changes the changes the fabric of this ecosystem for the better, and actually has a real utility. Not just like, oh, we invented our new blockchain and it shards faster than the other one. No, like we stop people and institutions from losing potentially billions of dollars every single year. If that's not utility, dude, I don't know what is.
Can I so is this working now? Like all the viewers can go download this and start using this?
Yeah. Yeah. And just so that everybody knows, you do, like, if you don't believe me, go try it. Like, seriously, please verify everything that I'm saying. Go look at our public patent filings. Go to hackin.io and search Precin. Go look at our audit. Seriously, like, verify all this stuff. And secondarily, if you want to test out Precin, you're like, you know what, Drew, you're lying. That doesn't work. All right, try it. And try it on testnet, where you're not even risking your own money. You can do it. You can use Precin on testnet. Okay. And so if you try it on testnet and it works, then maybe try like a, I don't know, $20 transaction on mainnet, something that's not going to absolutely wreck you, and see if it works. And then if it works from then on out, man, use it. There's no reason to accidentally lose your money. And we charge such a minimal fee. This is how Precin makes money. So if you invest in Precin, you want to know, okay, what do I get? You get an economic right in Precin. You are a shareholder through a digital security token, one of the first ever issued in the entire world, okay, is the Precin digital security token. You house that in your Web3 wallet of choice, so long as it is compatible with Polygon blockchain, because that's what we were issuing our digital security token on. You also, if you have one full coin or token, it gives you fee-free use to Precin on all of our extensions and web app, okay? Secondarily, you have economic rights. What does that mean? You have economic rights to like dividends from the board of directors at the board of directors' discretion. And the terms of that are on the offering page. Right at the top of the offering page, there's a big banner. As soon as you click on it, and it'll kind of show you exactly what it is that you can expect. Now, the way that Precin makes money is we charge a transaction fee similar to a blockchain charging a gas fee. So we charge a per transaction fee of 0.2% or $1, whichever one is larger. And obviously, we have to have that bare minimum because we don't want people just coming in on Precin using it for 7-cent test transactions, and then we make no money, but we spent millions of dollars developing this technology, right? So that basically means that if you're sending $1,000, you are protecting it with Precin for $2. Is $2 not worth protecting your $1,000? And is $2 at the very least not worth like saving you the time in having to do a 5 or 10 minute test transaction? I know 5 or 10 minutes of my time is worth way more than $2. And I'm sure that everybody watching, you can agree that yours is as well, right? So that's how we make money in just from the retail perspective. From the institutional perspective, we can license this technology out, and we're already getting ready to, I'm already in talks with one wallet in particular. And then we're also talking, and it's a new wallet, and I don't want to drop their name because I don't want to like excite people and then like the wallet never catches traction or something like that, right? And then I look like a liar. So I'm just, until things come to fruition, until it's signed, sealed, and delivered, I don't talk about it because then I get blamed if it's out of my control and it doesn't come through. But then secondarily, we're going to be talking to the Coinbases, the MetaMasks, the Ledgers, the Trust Wallets, and the Braves and Operas of the world. And we actually have a pretty large company that we're under NDA with right now, that we've been under NDA with for about a year while we've been developing the institutional grade architecture. And now that we have that done and it's ready to implement, and we can implement them within 48 hours, so long as they can get it up and operational. We can do our end in 48 hours. Then that's what we do. And we charge them a licensing fee for that. So think about how many potential clients Precin could have, right? Let's just do some simple math. There's probably 100 plus exchanges, right? There's probably 1,000 plus blockchains. There's probably 500 different wallets, right? And probably 5 to 10% of those are billion-dollar companies, right? You're talking Binance, Coinbase, MetaMask, Ledger, places like that, right? Even Rabby Wallet, maybe Trust Wallet, Trezor. So these guys aren't going to bat an eye at paying $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000 a month to protect their users' transactions. So yeah, this is your chance to get in, and that's all I can say. Yeah.
Okay, good. What a pitch. Great pitch, Drew. Appreciate it. Okay, so that kind of explains what PreSend is. Let's talk about the offering that you're bringing. And again, I know that the website can say more than you are allowed to say personally, so I'm going to leave a link here. But what can you tell us about this offering? What's the money going to be used for? How is it going to be paid back? Like, maybe tell us just what you can about the offering.
100%. So essentially what it is a digital security offering under a regulated crowd fund. Okay. So what does that mean? That means that we are complying in the United States and bringing it on a compliant platform that is regulated by the SEC and FINRA, which is called Akemona.com. And if you want to do research on Akemona.com, just scroll down to the bottom. You'll see their FINRA and their SEC filings and licenses and all that good stuff. Right. So essentially what that does is when you invest, you get a digital security token that brings you and gives you your economic rights to Precin as a shareholder. This is the next generation, the digital security token of shares in a company. You will have shares in our private Delaware, United States based corporation. This isn't like some LLC in the Cook Islands. This is a Delaware based C Corp that has a very similar structure to every other private corporation in the entire world and a lot of the public corporations in the entire world. We have a board of directors, we have C-suites, we have votes. The investors do not have voting rights. Okay, only the board of directors have that for obvious reasons, because somebody that invests $50, you don't know who they are, right? And you don't know like what their like knowledge is in this market. So you leave that up to the professionals, and hopefully people trust our professionals enough to do that. And I don't know why you wouldn't, because we're already here. We've invented it. We've brought it out. It's on the market. And now we're pursuing licensing agreements with our 2 pending patents in 28 worldly jurisdictions. So that's kind of what you can expect in the offering. And if you want to know, like, what's the minimum that you can invest, what's the maximum that you can invest, how do you invest, what are the special potential bonuses and early bird discounts that you can get, how much does the token cost, all that stuff, all of that is on the offering page. And please go there and do your own due diligence. I cannot speak on it because the SEC makes me essentially either talk, one, I can either choose to talk about the company and everything that we have going on, or two, I can tell you all the details of the offering, how long it's open, how much it costs, all the early bird discounts and all that type of stuff. I always choose to talk about the company because I would rather have people have a fundamental understanding of who we are, how we got here, why it matters, and the things that we do in order to, represent you as an investor, and then also go out and generate revenue in our future, rather than just tell people like, go invest in this, it costs this much. Right. So yeah, just go to the offering page and you'll see it. And there's a lot of graphics everywhere. We make it very seamless for everybody for that exact reason. We want people to, we know these pages are boring. Okay. So we try to spice them up a little bit.
Yes, as only Drew Wolfer can. So no, I appreciate that. Can you I don't know if you're allowed to talk about this, but can you talk about, we won't talk about how much goes to investors or anything like that, but when you're kind of estimating your revenue going forward, how are you doing those calculations? Are you figuring, oh, our goal is to have this many people using it, so it'll bring in this amount of revenue? What can you kind of tell us about maybe future projections and what you're looking to do?
So what I would like to do is I would like to onboard at least 6 large partners within the next year. Okay. And with those because I want to target larger partners, because for example, if I just get some wallet that has, I don't know, 20,000 users, I could probably only charge them maybe $10,000 a month to utilize our software. Right. And they'll probably charge their customers for it. Right. But Coinbase, right? MetaMask, they generate hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars a day in trading fees, swapping fees, features that they have built in, right? I can charge Coinbase 10x, 20x what I could charge a small wallet, because first off, they have millions more users, right? They have millions more liquid capital, and they aren't going to bat an eye at this. And I think it's a better fit for the larger institutions. This is my recommendation to them, in my opinion. Obviously, they can do whatever they want. I think they should just license this and offer it out for free to their customers as like a marketing flex that basically says, look, we're one of the only exchanges in the entire world that actually protects our users' transactions. You should trust us. You should come and do business with us and not everybody else, right? And then hopefully by doing so, it becomes the industry standard, because if you get the first big dog that does that, then every single one of them has to do it, right? So if somebody implements something like, say there's a swapping feature on Uniswap and they implement that, all of their competitors have to implement that same feature in order to be able to compete, right? So if we get one big dog that does it, then everybody else has to do it almost through osmosis in order to compete with that company. So that's kind of where we're at.
Okay, very
I
good.
can't
Have
really
you?
like it's hard to like predict the revenue that can come off of that because like I said, a smaller partner can bring in a lot less, but a larger partner could bring in a lot more. And are they going to charge the fees and do a revenue share for us where we take a portion of the fees that they're charging, or are they just going to do a licensing deal? But my goal is to build this into $1 billion company. That is my goal. At the very least, 9 figures. I think that through the technology that we have, because of our patents, because we're the only game in town, we invented this. And it's such a massive problem in the market because the blockchains are just built like this and you cannot go back in time and change it. I think we're very integral. And I don't think that the Coinbases or even the BlackRocks and the big institutions that are coming in are going to bat an eye at saying, yeah, I'd like a little bit of quality assurance when I'm moving my money around. And same for my customers, right? Because if a customer loses money coming out of your exchange, whether it's your problem or fault or not, if there was a solution on the market that could have stopped that from happening and you don't have it, you're always, no matter what, going to have that asterisk by your name from that customer and then everybody that that customer talks to. God forbid it's like a large influencer that this happens to, and then they tell their whole community, right? So yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty straightforward, cut and dry type of deal for these large potential partners. It's just about getting in the door. And luckily, we're pretty good at getting in the doors.
Yes, absolutely. Have you had any traction in, dealing with some of those bigger wallets, like MetaMask and Coinbase? Have you been able to get any traction with that, or what's the
Yeah,
status there?
100%. Yeah, so that's kind of that alludes back to my previous point where I can't say who it is because we are under NDA and I'm not going to like jeopardize that just to like flex it to somebody or flex it to our community, right? But we are under NDA with I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can't technically say what their valuation are, but they're massive, man. They're in the 9 to 10 figure range, and it's a big company that everybody's heard of. You probably use them. We're under NDA with them right now, and we basically pitched them this technology a while back. It was about a year ago, and they were like, okay, where are you at? They actually approached us, and that's the craziest part because I didn't approach them. I don't approach people until I have it, right? I'm not going to like say, hey, do you want some bread if I still got to go bake it, right? I'm going to say, yo, here's some bread, right? So that's what I'm basically doing with these partners as I waited until we had the infrastructure built in place and now it's there. And so these guys were like, well, how long is it going to take you to get it to where you can implement it with us? And I was like, probably about a year to build the rest of the infrastructure in the way that we need to build it. And then also get everything tested and make sure that it's there. And now we're here. And so they're going to be like basically my first call. So yeah.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, and I imagine, like you said before, as if one or two start picking up on it, that's a feature that the other ones will have to get on board with. So that's a good way to get traction. Is if you can get traction with one, you can get traction with a bunch. So love that. Excited for the future. Can you talk a little bit about the relationship between Wolfer Finance and PreSend and how they interact with each other and how does the revenue from PreSend affect and talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So Wolfer Finance is essentially the operating and management company of Precin. So Wolfer owns not actually, it's kind of surprising. Wolfer doesn't actually own a major portion of the equity in Precin, but it owns a good enough portion that it makes sense for us, right? And so what Wolfer has is called the Class A Director Designation. That is irrevocable. And the reason why is because Wolfer actually came in and made all of this happen, right? So when Larry kind of came to me, I was like, yeah, but you got to give not only me, but also my company equity. And then my company's going to fund the marketing of this to go out and raise us the initial capital that we need in order to build this thing and get it out there. And so that's what happened. And so now that it's a Delaware C Corp, essentially Wolfer Finance has the Class A Director designation. So not only does Wolfer have a board of directors designation that is the top one, that is the basically managerial and operational control of it, and we appoint that person, which obviously is me because I'm the CEO of both companies. And basically what that does is it also has economic and voting rights, which is very different than what the founders have. Like myself, I don't have economic rights to Precin. So like, even if the board of directors vote like, hey, let's distribute out dividends, we don't get dividends. We only have voting rights and ownership shares, whereas the investors have dividend rights, and so does Wolfer, but Wolfer also has voting rights. So yeah, that's kind of like, I know it sounds like crazy and like it's kind of like that legal rigmarole, but essentially Wolfer is the operating company that funded it all, and at first, and got us operational. And then we also used, our community is the one that came in and kind of made all of this happen as well.
Okay, very good. So you're raising money. Can you, again, you mentioned this before, but just want to kind of get it out here. What is the money going to be used for, and what happens if you don't raise as much as you are planning on? Will things still move forward, or what's the plan if that happens?
Yeah, so that would suck, obviously, because nobody wants to not raise money in this way, because this is the most optimal way to raise the money, right? So essentially, if we don't raise any money, we'll touch on what the money would be used for, right? So obviously, tech is very expensive. There's developers. We have a team of like anywhere from 6 to 8 developers, depending on who has to be working on what, right? Are we working on website? Are they, coding the website in React? If they're not coding the website, then that guy's not really working, right? But then we've got front end, back end, then we've got full stack, we've got blockchain developers, everything, right? So we've got this massive team, not massive, but I guess massive for a small company, team of developers that we have to pay every month. We have lawyers that we have to pay every month. We have accountants, just like every other company in the world, right? So there is a burn rate. I don't take a salary. Larry doesn't get a salary. Craig doesn't get a salary. Like, nobody is taking salaries at this point from the company. And there's a reason for that. Because I want it to be successful, but essentially that's what we'll be using the money for, is to keep it operational and then scale into the things that we need to scale into, like adding more chains, right? Bitcoin chain, Solana chain. We also want to be able to, because we've basically taken over the EVM market. We're compatible with ETH, Avalanche, FTM, Binance Smart Chain, and Polygon, right? So, and every coin that is on those blockchains, and NFTs. So it's also compatible with NFTs, and it'll stop you from interacting with scam tokens and sending to like honeypots and stuff like that. It'll stop you from doing all of that stuff. That's what Precin does. But here's the gist of it. We need to prove to all of these institutions in our contracts, we're basically going to say like, hey, we know that we only have these 5 chains and compatibility with these 6 wallets and these 7 wallets and these 6 centralized exchanges, which the exchanges are Coinbase, Binance.com, Binance US, KuCoin, Crypto.com, Kraken. And then we have Opera, Brave, MetaMask, Ledger, Trust Wallet, Coinbase Wallet, and Crypto.com DeFi Wallet. So there's a reason why we chose all of these, and it's because you have to start somewhere. So you want to start with the ones that have the most users to be compatible with, right? But when I go to a partner, I'm going to say, hey, we can implement whatever you want. You just got to tell us what blockchains. So if they're like, hey, the majority of our users are transacting on Solana right now. Okay, cool. Then we're going to develop Solana immediately. That's numero uno, right? Or most of our people are sending out to Rabby Wallet. Okay, cool. We'll get Rabby Wallet in. That'll be the very first priority for wallets or something like that, right? So that's very simple for us. We are super flexible on that, but that's essentially what this money will go for. Now, if we don't raise money, right? And that's always a possibility. So you have to keep that in the back of your head. Luckily for everyone, I don't want to like raise money. All right. First off, guys, just raise the money. All right. Because that's the most advantageous terms that is going to set up Precin for success, because what I'm about to say is not what we want to do. Okay. But with that being said, in true Drew fashion, what I have done is I have left equity, because I'm not greedy and neither are any of my co-founders. We have left like top tier equity, voting rights equity, just like what we have in the company, in this case that nothing happens and we need to go out and get venture funding or angel investors or people like James Pelton that are just private investors that want to buy a little smidgen of the equity and stuff like that to keep us operational, so that we can go and get these partners, and then they would essentially buy equity in the company, and potentially, depending on how much equity they buy, would get like a board member seat and certain amount of voting rights with that equity. So can I go out and get venture funding? Yes. Do I want to? No. Is that going to be favorable terms for Precin and everybody that's already involved? Absolutely not, because venture always comes in and they will either, one, smack you down on that deal, right? Because they know you need them, Or two, they will come in and they will take so much equity in the company, right? Which obviously I've set it up to where they can't do this, but they will want to take so much equity in the company that they try to seize operational control over the company, right? And now all of the people that the previous investors gave their money to, that they trusted, the people that built the company, the people that funded the company, the people that filed the pending patents, the named inventors, now no longer have operational control over the company. And they're just essentially now the CEOs, the CMOs, the board members, but they get outvoted by these venture funds. Not happening. We need to raise the money in the crowd fund. But if we don't, yeah, I mean, I can go to venture capital for way less favorable terms for everybody. So that's a public service announcement to everybody. If you're already an investor, yeah, maybe consider making sure that we don't have to go to venture, because nobody wants to do that.
Yeah, I think the big thing that you touched on is, most VCs are going to want control of the company in some way. So that's one of the advantages of crowdfunding like this is, you can raise the money, but keep control, where the VCs are going to want a big enough piece of the pie where they can take over if something happens. So yeah, totally agree there. VC people are the worst. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I love VC people.
Yeah, I would rather reach out to like private investors and like family offices that manage other people's stuff that they don't necessarily have the time to manage it. And they trust. Because I mean, look at our track record, man. Like seriously, we already built it. It's already patent pending in 28 worldly jurisdictions. We'll touch on that in just a second because that's bullish. That's nuts. And I mean, it's on the market. Like we've proven everything. It's here. Now it's ready to go out and get partners. So if I was to bring in VC, I would want VCs that have contacts in this market as well. So they're like thinking about it from an investment perspective and a functional perspective. So am I. You don't know anybody, but you want to take a bunch of equity in our company? Get out of my face. I'm gonna need somebody that knows people at Coinbase, Ledger, MetaMask. Give me some warm handoffs. Let me go in and do what I need to do, what I've quoted that I'm going to do, and allow us to succeed. Don't impede us or hinder us from that, right?
Absolutely. Well, hey, very informative. If people have more questions, they want to talk through it a little bit more, what's the best way for them to get that? Hop in the Discord?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Go to the website in the very top right corner. Top right is over here, actually. There's a Discord icon, and you just click on it. You go into the Discord, verify that you're a human being, just like every other Discord known to mankind. And essentially, you can ask any questions that you want. And hopefully, everybody kind of goes in there and asks those questions. Secondarily, go to the offering page and look at the offering page and understand what it is that PreSend is and the opportunity that it holds for you. Okay. The thing that I really want to beat into the ground, and this is the thing that is going to be able to, this is our biggest flex, I think, in getting partners. Okay. PreSend has 2 pending patents. We filed our provisional patent for test transactions on blockchains back in June of 2022. Okay. What does that mean? If you know anything about Uniswap, if you know anything about Ledger or Gnosis wallet, right? The Gnosis safes, they all do what is called a simulation transaction. What's a simulation transaction, Drew? It's literally a test transaction on the testnet of a blockchain. Now, who has the pending patent worldwide on that? Ding, ding, ding. PreSend does. When did PreSend file that? Back in June of 2022, we filed our provisional patent. Was that before all of those companies were using that technology? Yes, it was. So if PreSend has issued that patent, what do you think that does for the people that are using that technology? And where does that put PreSend? You want to hear the most bullish part about it? I know James does. PreSend's test transaction patent was accepted into the PPH program through the patent treaty, which is called the PCT, International Patent Treaty. And basically what that does is it puts you to the front of the line. You are on the patent prosecution highway, the fast track to patent issuance. It comes with a known statistic from 2022 and 2023 of an 88.3% approval rating. So, like I said, if we have an 88.3% approval rating and we are put to the front of the line for patent issuance, and on average, you hear back from them in the first 144 days. When did you get the PPH accepted, Drew? Back in January. Oh, that's like 4 months ago. How much is 155 days? Oh, it's like 5 months. Weird. So it's this is your opportunity, is all I can say. This is your opportunity. We have a second pending patent that is on our proprietary blockchain process, which is like what we call our secret sauce, how we actually protect everything. That is I don't see any way that we don't get that patent because there's literally nothing in the world like it. I don't see any way that we don't get that patent. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed because it's not up to me. It's up to the patent examiners. But what I can do is give you the information and you can do with it what you will. And then secondarily, the both of these patents are filed in not only the United States, but every single country in the European Union. And here's one more that's probably going to blow people's mind. We also filed the test transaction patent in Hong Kong, which means that if we get it issued in Hong Kong, guess what we have, Sway? A Chinese patent, which is really hard to get as an American company. So if we do that, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say we're legends. So yeah, do with that information what you will.
Amazing. Awesome.
What's
Drew,
this
love
guy
your
talking about? IP, pop him up. What's that one other thing that does the same thing? Let's hear it. Say it. What is it, IP?
All right.
I'd
What's
love
the
to
other
hear it.
one that does the same thing?
Yeah. He's probably talking about Wallet Guard. They don't do the same thing. They don't do the same thing. They do simulation transactions, which if we get the patent issued on that, we own that technology now. So sorry about you, Wallet Guard, Ledger, Uniswap, all you guys, Coinbase. Not saying that it's a guarantee that we get that, but yeah, IP, if you want to type in what you're talking about in the comment section, yeah, we'll be more than happy to look into it. But at the end of the day, here's what I'm going to tell you. If they didn't come out with it before June of 2022 and we're issued the patent on it, cease and desist. We own the tech on it. That's the difference in between us and everybody else. We thought about this from a business perspective. I protected that from day one. I made sure of that from day one, that if we're going to invent this and we only have, say, $2 million, right? I don't have the firepower of Coinbase that has billions of dollars, and Ledger and MetaMask, who's owned by Consensus, that has billions of dollars, right? We don't have that. So they can go out and develop this tech, like, and stuff like that, but they're not going to, right? They'd rather have somebody else develop it for them and then they can license it, or they can buy it, right? They could just buy the technology from us and use it themselves. But what they are doing is they aren't looking at it from like a fundamental perspective, like, oh, I should file a patent on this. We did. So if they weren't using it before June of 2022, then yeah, sorry. I know they did an NFT drop to buy in. Yeah, I don't know, man. James, you're on mute. Yeah,
Oh, man,
I don't know what
YouTuber
company you're talking about.
Yeah, no, if you can let us know what you're talking about, we can take a look, but I haven't seen other things that do things quite the way this does. So
yeah, and amazing. We could prove it too. Like there's a video on my channel that shows Precin where I use it, and basically what happened is I took, so for example, I'll take USDC, right? USDC, I took it and I tried to send it to Coinbase, right? Now, what I did was I tried to send like USDC on FTM chain to Coinbase, and Precin stopped it because it knows it can't show up. And then what I would do even furthermore to illustrate that point is I would go into MetaMask or I would go into Ledger and I would do the same exact transaction, send it to the Coinbase wallet, and it would let it go through. So all of these like softwares, you can use it. Try it on Wallet Guard, man. Try on Wallet Guard. Send Binance coin to a 0x wallet address at Coinbase. Send USDC on Avalanche chain to Coinbase. I bet you Wallet Guard lets you do it. I bet you lose your money. I bet you if you go and do it on Precin, it stops you, saves you your money. So there is no one that does this. One thing I can assure you, I made sure of that. I'm not going to get involved in something that I can't protect because I would have wasted a year and a half of my time doing that. And that's just not, it's not the business that I'm in, right? I'm going to make sure that I have the best chance for success. And we set it up in that way for a reason, not only for myself, but also for the investors that believed in us and trusted us. And now we're here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man.
Awesome. Well, hey, this has been very educational. I always like having you on to do an update. I watched Drew do a presentation on PreSend in Dubai at the World Blockchain Summit, and he did a really great job. And actually, what amazed me was how many people afterwards rushed up to want to talk with you about this, because there was a lot of people who were like, hey, we see this as really big. And so cool to be able to get in the ground level on this. So
yeah, those were all VCs. they were all VCs and they were like, oh, can we get in on this? And I was like, no, we're funding this like ourselves. So yeah, I mean, you can get in the way that we've got set up, but I'm not selling you preferred equity, and we'll consider it. I'll always consider people's offers, but yeah, I don't want to sell people preferred equity if I don't have to. But we will if we have to. Absolutely. If our hands are tied, you just got to do what you got to do. And that's actually where James got won over, not only to the to be Team Wolfer, but also to Team Precin, because I remember after that presentation, I remember our conversation. Do you remember what you said, James? Because your biggest qualm was you were like, I don't see people changing their habits, right? This thing's going to be intrusive, essentially, right? And then
Correct. Yeah, that
afterwards,
was what I was worried about. Yep.
yeah, and then afterwards, you were like, man, I guess I didn't realize how like actually simple it was going to be, and it's literally just a few clicks of a button. And that's how it is. So, for example, say you're on Coinbase, right? Say Coinbase integrates Precin. They haven't done it. I'm not saying they're going to. I'm obviously targeting them. No guarantee of that. If you go into Coinbase to try to do a withdrawal, this is what the process would look like. You pick your coin, you pick your chain you want to bring it out on, you put in your wallet address. Then before you press send, right, there's a little button, little pop-up that says, do you want to protect this transaction? If you click no, no big deal. You're on your own, right? I wouldn't suggest doing that. But if you click yes, then Precin's going to ask you one question. Are you sending to a centralized exchange? If you click no, it's going to say, what wallet are you sending it to then? And then you just choose your wallet, click send. Precin runs the checks. If it doesn't pass the checks, it says, no, don't send it there. We're not prompting that transaction. And if it passes the checks and says, yeah, this is accepted there, then it sends it. Okay. And so it's literally 3 clicks of a button. Do you want to protect this transaction? Yes. Are you sending to a centralized exchange? Yes. What centralized exchange are you sending to? Click, bam, out.
Yeah, it's very, very easy. It's pretty much just as easy as sending through MetaMask. So it's really not really any extra work at all.
We designed the interface like MetaMask for that exact reason, right? So that people were used to it. Because I took James's words to heart, and I said, you know what, James, you're right. Let's make it look like MetaMask, right? So old Crypto Jimbo came through on that one.
That's right, man. I'm taking credit for half of all your success. So that's my plan.
Let's go.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap up. So, audience, if you're watching this, first off, go be a PreSend user. It's available. So, if nothing else, if you're like, nah, I don't have any extra money, whatever, that's totally fine. Go be a user. I actually was impressed too, Drew. I just saw in the Chrome store, you have all 5-star reviews. So, it must be working well because everybody who's using it is really liking it. So, that's really good to see.
It's almost like it works.
It's almost like it works and that it's helping people. And so great job there. So you can go be a user, and the only costs are going to be, there's no cost to use it monthly or anything like that. It's just a little bit, and it's very, very small amount too. It's you say 0.25%? Is that correct?
Yeah, 0.2%. So like $2 on $1,000.
Okay. Yeah. So it's very, very cheap, but it can save you. And you might think, no, I'm always careful, but it's that one time where you're not careful. I sent $500 to an address that didn't exist just last week. They mistyped it or something. I don't know exactly what happened. And then we had to argue a little bit about whose fault it was. And, you should have checked the address before you sent it. And I said, well, I just copy and pasted it. But PreSend would have saved me from all that. So amazing. So yeah, come in as a user. If you have more questions, hop into the Discord. They would love to talk over things with you, get all your questions answered. And if you would like to invest, there is this public offering page. Actually, Akemona is pretty cool. I've been looking at that. Drew introduced me to Akemona, and I think it's really, really cool. So I'm going to leave a link to this offering page. Make sure you read it over. We are just YouTubers. Do not take our word for anything, okay? Go read the offerings page and make sure this is going to be a good fit for you. Make sure you're going to be, if you're looking for a certain return over a certain amount of time, make sure this offering fits in with your goals that you are looking for. So,
absolutely.
Audience, you guys are amazing. Appreciate you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week. Drew, Thanks for being a good friend. Thanks for always building and always hustling and doing all these things. Appreciate it very much. We will talk to you later and hope you all have a great rest of your day. God bless.